What's up, friends? Thanks to someone, one of you viewers, who sent us the Understanding the New World of Medical Influencing article, which is an op-ed from Doximity written by Dr. Catherine Wu, who is a medicine prelim who's applying to psychiatry next year. Scroll through your social media newsfeed these days, and it's likely that you'll see a clinician in a white coat talking about their daily work routine, performing the latest dance trend, or even doing both simultaneously. Though definitions vary, typically a medical influencer is someone who presents as a medical professional on social media and creates posts about worthwhile over-the-counter products, commentary on scientific articles, the ills of medical training, or medical myths popular with the general public, just to give a few examples. Okay, so far, so good. I'm on board. As the trend has grown, medical influencing has allowed healthcare professionals to be key opinion leaders, people who have specialty knowledge and expertise in a specific field, and the ability to influence others in their specialty community. Giving tips for med students on the wards, or in medical publishing, or fighting against misinformation. Yeah, there is a lot of benefit from many medical influencers, many of my colleagues. And yet, despite the numerous productive professional aspects of social media, it can still be used to further one's own personal agenda. Specifically, social media can bring out a person's narcissistic side. Yeah, I think absolutely, especially with the social media algorithms with likes and subscribers and view count and all that stuff. You are very much focused on your level of influence, on your importance, things like that. So yeah, I think it can definitely exacerbate or bring out a person's narcissistic side. Yeah, in some, medical influencers are prone to the ills of participation in online social networks as much as anyone else. Totally agree. However, our code of ethics and our commitment to treat people with care are unique to us. And how does our online presence coincide with these values? All right, so here's the crux of the article. Medical influencer culture is weakening the patient-focused nature of healthcare. Not sure why she's saying that. Let's see. Endemic to the act of influencing, or participating in social media in general, is the focus on the content creator and their balance of aesthetics with information. Okay, fair, but I don't think that, aesthetics and information, they're not, there's a false dichotomy here. You can have a really beautiful looking photo or post or animation or videography or whatever, and still provide very comprehensive and accurate and useful information. As with election campaigns, success as a med influencer doesn't always come from quality content. It's a gaming strategy relying on name recognition and connecting with and contacting as many users as possible. Essentially, it's a fight for attention. And when you're fighting for attention, it's not just the quality of the information, because I'm sure you can relate. There have been many professors in your school who may be brilliant and they have maybe a lot of good content to share, but the delivery, their slides, etc., put you to sleep, as an example. So that's an extreme example. But in the real world, if you want to get your message across, then you need to make it easily digestible, palatable, attractive, enjoyable, all those other things too. It's not just about the information. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. Once a following has been accrued, another dilemma, conflicts of interest. Sway followers to try certain medication regimens, buy supplements, use particular health apps on their phones. Yeah, this is definitely a gray area. And this is an area that I'm involved with, right? I do sponsorships on this channel. A lot of them are related to health or wellness. But two things. First of all, obviously FTC does have some guidelines with regards to disclosures of ads of sponsored content, such that you don't have any deceptive marketing. But number two, we need to give the audience more credit, because the audience, people are smart and they can tell when an influencer just signs on with every single sponsor that comes their way and they're promoting complete garbage.
You think if I was on steroids, I would have these fucking appendages down here?
Yes. I've done steroids because I lied.
Or are they a selective person that only promotes certain things? The things that they believe in and that they believe their audience will derive value from. When healthcare professionals are paid to create ad posts and endorsements, or when they are heavily invested in spotlighting certain social, economic, and political issues, that's really key. They run the risk of no longer being objective and evidence-based in their approach. Obviously, the pandemic was a huge learning opportunity with regards to this. And what I learned is that a lot of people, this is human nature, most people, not all, most people will join a tribe. They'll take on an identity and they'll blindly believe one thing or another. That's why you had these two sides fighting. And then you had a very small number of people, and some of these are people that I follow closely because I really value their input, their expertise, and their ability to be non-tribal, to be a little bit more objective with their approach. And they'll be somewhere in the middle, like, okay, it's not, vaccines aren't all good, they aren't all bad. Something in the middle. How can we actually look at the data and determine from this the nuances? Compounding the issue, the AMA Code of Medical Ethics includes an opinion on physician use of social media, but doesn't provide specific guidance on brand endorsements, public broadcasting of opinions unrelated to medicine, or on what constitutes general education versus specific medical advice online. And she actually gives a relevant example here to doctors spreading misinformation about the COVID vaccine. I can't say specifics, but some social media platforms are making strides in having a more formal process to show qualifications, certification, approval, so when you're consuming content, you can see who is it coming from. One other thing I've heard from other people, and I don't think this author is suggesting, is to delete, censor, etc., the misinformation. And I think that is very, very dangerous because it has good intention, but where do you draw the line? That's the hard part. And if we go back to the COVID vaccine, all good, all bad, somewhere in the middle, you need to be able to have healthy discourse to actually find the truth, to find that nuance, because guess what? Both sides are actually wrong, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. In young, healthy people, and again, the numbers may have changed, but when I looked at this, maybe it was like a year ago or several months ago, there's a risk of certain complications such as myocarditis from the vaccine. There's a risk of complications from getting COVID. When you're a young, healthy person, the numbers at each age range and risk stratification are gonna vary. So as a young, healthy guy with few comorbidities, I was able to make a decision based on the data, and I said, oh, okay, I guess it's not so black and white. I need to make an individual decision based on the risk profile here. And yet, if medical influencing is so fraught, why do people go into it, and what has made it a meaningful trend? Multiple things. You can share pieces of your job that a layperson doesn't normally get to see, but can actually improve rather than detract from the patient experience. Totally agree with that. A lot of my colleagues make fantastic content showing the realities of being a med student, of being a resident, of being an attending physician. We also have a series called A Day in the Life, which shows you what it's like to be a certain type of doctor. And these are things that previously were a lot harder for the public to see. Furthermore, social media can provide a platform for clinicians to share our expertise, values, and unique skill sets with people who may be less knowledgeable. Absolutely. And a lot of my colleagues are really skillful at explaining complex things in a easy to understand way, which is really, really amazing to see because we are democratizing information. And I follow Dr. Andrew Huberman as an example, and his podcast is just so good, so good. In addition, social media influencing can be used to empower ourselves as clinicians in an increasingly disempowering profession. The bureaucracy, the red tape, these rules upon rules can make physicians feel like cogs in the machine rather than respected, learned, and entrusted professionals. I think this is really key, with the keyword being empowered, right? I think physicians, again, good intentions with various regulations and all that stuff, but with the bureaucracy, a lot of times physicians can feel stifled. And social media is giving these really compassionate, intelligent, driven individuals who want to help their patients above all else to have a platform and have a greater degree of impact. Physicians are humans, and for all humans, an online presence can magnify the Machiavellian traits of our personalities. But as future generations of physicians grow up and become more comfortable with social media, we can learn how to practice media influencing more responsibly. This entails being more mindful of egoism, being upfront about conflicts of interest, and sharing evidence-based information for education of the general public. I mean, Dr. Wu is speaking in broad strokes, and I think we'd all agree that yes, medical influencing, social media has a lot of benefits. It does have some issues. You do have a lot of people who never earned their MD or their DO, and they pretend that they are physicians online, or people that are giving harmful advice online, misleading people for their own personal gain. So I agree with that, but then how are we actually going to make the change? How do you improve things from the current state? And I'm not sure that there is an easy answer to that. I think censorship is well-intentioned, but very, very dangerous, and I do not think is a good idea. Social media platforms having more transparency and a process of getting certified on that platform, I think is a step in the right direction. But of course, that's not gonna be enough because human nature with social media, we're very tribal organisms, and we tend to identify with one group versus another. We tend to be us versus them. But clearly there's no straightforward, easy answer. But let me know what you guys think with a comment down below. How can we improve the world of social media medical influencers? Again, thanks to you guys for sending me this article to react to. Thanks to Dr. Catherine Wu for writing this article. And much love, my friends. I'll see you guys in the next one.